To this day, my mother struggles with the idea that like her offspring has any sort of mental health issue.
I still hid it from some people because I didn't want anyone to treat me like I was weak.
It always comes back to the exact same thing. You know, you're crazy, estás loco.
I never really, would mentally allow myself to be weak.
You develop this whole like, yeah, I'm fine, everything's great, because it wasn't talked about then.
When I was about 16 years old, my mother attempted suicide. Filled my life with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of not knowing what's coming tomorrow. And I just, my whole life I used to think she was being dramatic, and until I experienced my own massive panic attack a couple years back, it really hurts me how hard I was on her, once I see how real of a thing it is. And now I sometimes have self-regret, damn, you didn't have remorse for your own mother, and that's hard.
I struggle with depression and anxiety, and it all started years back. Growing up, you don't really talk about it, especially in the Latino community. There's a lot of stigma around mental health. Numerous times you try to voice what you feel and it's almost dismissed.
As sick as it sounds, it felt like a friend because I've had it for so long. But when I really needed help was about 3 years ago, when I had actually made a plan to commit suicide. It's weird when you're in that frame of mind because you don't think of your loved ones, which I have a daughter, and I just felt like she was better off without me.
So I just remember in middle school dealing with certain situations but not really knowing how to name those emotions, feeling like there was a weight over me, feeling like there was a dark cloud following me. The stigma that was in my mind a lot was a stigma that is in the Black community a lot, which says that if you go to therapy, you're crazy, or there must be something wrong with you. And you, as a Black woman, you just have to be strong and deal with it on your own, or go pray to God about it. And so I just didn't want to be seen as weak.
In middle school, I actually had a teacher who sent me to the guidance counselor. And then I think my mother came in at a certain point, and we were just like, no, this isn't a thing. This doesn't happen to us, something like that.
I wish that employers would know more about how crippling and debilitating depression is, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of grin and bear it, because the stigma out there, a lot of people think, oh, you're just making this up because you don't want to work or you're lazy.
I guess kind of the cultural background where I'm from, it was just kind of like we're going to turn a blind eye to this. She received less education about it. I mean, I think it's also a generational divide, whereas when I was in high school and stuff, we had health classes that talked about these sort of issues, and I don't necessarily think that she received that sort of education. She was like, for every time you go see a therapist, you could just go get a massage or something, just totally non-constructive, unproductive ways of thinking that made it even more difficult for me to take these steps on my own because I had no support.
Well, I mean, I even grew up at a time where, I was upset or crying or even sad and smile. I think it's getting better, but it's definitely not there yet.
Dealing with something like this, when you're so afraid to be vocal about it, you feel like there's something wrong with you. Normal really is experiencing emotions. Normal really is heartbreak. Normal is sadness. All those things exist. All those things everyone goes through. A lot of people think that going through mental illness and going through depression or anxiety makes you a weak-minded individual, and that's not the case at all.
Through my seeking of help, I've recognized I've had to do these things and had to undergo these things because no one could walk in my shoes and be me through these experiences. This is what molded Nate today. This is who I am. This is my story, and this is what I have to run with.